Francesca, you are like an OG in the wellness space.
Oh,
You've been in there for a while.
yeah. Don't make me blush.
What's your philosophy? If I were to ask you what is your wellness philosophy, what would you say?
It's very simple, actually. I believe in less is more. I think we had a chat before, or we see so much nowadays.
Absolutely.
It's overwhelming. It's all amazing. If you take individually what longevity means, and acupuncture and yoga, Pilates, running, it's all incredible. But when you have to fit it in within your life, your routine, your work balance, and so on, I find it overwhelming. So for me, it's literally less is more. And however you feel in the morning, there are mornings. I'm a hiker, like you. I love nature. I have to be surrounded by nature. So there are mornings that I wake up at 5 or 6 and I have to be submersed in nature. I have to go for a walk. And then the emails can wait, or once in a while the phone will pop up like, all right, guys, hello, how's it going, blah, 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 and so on. So it's a philosophy of less is more. Take what you need.
Yeah.
But it's also amazing that, with advent of technology, the digital wellness, everything around us, my only fear is that we're only touching the surface. There's a lot of information, we're reading about it, but we're not really diving deep into it. And there's too many people doing too much. And my question sometimes is, who do we follow?
Absolutely.
Or who do we believe?
I mean, how do you answer that question?
It's a tricky one. Very, I have children, and I can tell you my teenager daughter very often is like, whenever we discuss certain things, where did you read that? Very interesting. And I'm like, well, because I talk a lot about Chinese medicine, it is my books. Do you believe them? Interesting. And I'm like, yes, I do, because it's millennials and so on. But nowadays, it's difficult. There are times that I question it, and it's great to have other people questioning me, my beliefs, or where did I get the information from? So it's good to pose, and then I guess it's up to us, whatever resonates and aligns with us, really.
I mean, I guess that's how you go about, to some extent, this less is more, is saying there is also a plethora of information, of advice, of things you should do, of ways you should live, right? And you have to choose for yourself. It's no longer you're limited by what's available. You're limited by what you choose to limit.
100%. I mean, we're exposed to so much that it is entirely up to you. But I think people should be careful how they dive into things. Like when you take a medicine, because your friend or your neighbor is saying that such and such is good for you.
Yeah.
Research it, go and see an expert, ask your questions, and does he align with your own body? The same with, for example, Pilates may not be for anyone. Yeah. Yoga may not be for everyone, or, all this amazing digital technology that everyone is wearing. Does it affect your nervous system? Sometimes, I'm fascinated by it. But I'm also so in line with the principle of TCM, for example, Chinese medicine, and the elements and so on, that I'm like, that could potentially be affecting us. So, it's individual, I would say.
So on the back of TCM, you mentioned it. It's obviously a big passion of yours. I mean, you built an entire brand off the back of it to a certain extent, right? So for those who might not know, can you just give us a small brief into what is TCM? And then, can TCM find its way into modern day living?
That's a great question, actually. Well, with Chinese medicine, gosh, we could talk for hundreds of years and so on. But to simplify it, it is the belief of balance, yin and yang. So there is no perfection, there is no imperfection. It's a matter of finding equilibrium and balance. And it's really beautiful because, again, reconnecting what we were saying before, is like too much on one side, too little on the other side. Find a balance, find your own balance. With Chinese medicine, the belief is around the elements. So there are 5 elements, but it's also around the seasons, the cycles, and so on. And I love that because I believe, you and I, Victoria and Francesca, we are who we are right now, but in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, according to our periods, according to the season, according to the humidity out there, or the sun, or the rain, we change. We're both Western people living in Eastern countries. We love it, it's the experience, but do our bodies align with these seasons? For me, this is something that I've been fascinated for so many years. And I have lived in Asia for now 30 years.
Wow.
Actually, I was in Thailand for 10 in my 20s. And this is where everything started. And I was introduced to Chinese medicine here in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, many, many moons ago. But it was exactly that, how do you respond to certain treatments? And then, of course, over the years, for me, it's been, we women, nothing against men, of course, but I think the female body is so interesting, how we adapt the hormones, the pregnancies, and then the perimenopause and the menopause and so on. So to see also how the cycles and the seasons around us will affect us is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, and there's like macro cycles, right? We can almost see macro cycles in the way that the world works, and in phases, even, in terms of like energy that's going on in the world, and we feel it now, right? And it feels like there's a specific type of energy that's building up everywhere. So you have these macro cycles, and then you have these kind of micro cycles within it.
Absolutely.
Even in the smallest dimension, we have a different 100%. Cycle every day. Right?
Totally. Like you said, within the 24 hours, we go through different cycles. So, for example, when I offer acupuncture or when we do masterclasses about gua sha, I'm always interested in finding out from, for example, the female attendees, where are you at with your period? Which at first people may be like, oh, I don't want to share about my period. But if you take the medical side of TCM, it's also interesting to see, why are you bloated? Why is your lymphatic system stagnant now versus day 28, day 35, and so on? So whenever you apply certain techniques, even normal face massage, for example, or cupping or so on, your body will respond in different ways. It's still you, it's still the same person, still the same practitioner, most likely, but you respond in different ways. And it's fascinating.
So how do you actually apply TCM to your everyday life? I mean, we know there are these cycles, macro cycles, micro cycles. We have to be aware of them. I'm assuming that's always step one. But then are there tools we can put in place?
There are so many tools. And I think the beauty nowadays is exactly that. We've embraced tools. We've embraced tactile stuff. It's not just the theory of, oh, yes, Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, or Mediterranean medicine, and so on. Gua sha, for example, has become ever so popular over the years. Sadly, not all of it is the correct way of performing techniques. But you take gua sha, it's not just for beauty reasons. Actually, gua sha was created to remove stagnation and pain, muscle pain, specific areas, so your upper trapezius, your glutes, and so on. So, for example, I know you're quite sporty. You should try next time you go running to, in between medium techniques, to do some scraping and some gua sha techniques to your glutes, to your calves, and to your gluteus region, and see how you perform. Then you could try and do the same after, within a few hours, and see how your lactic acid and everything, how your body is responding. So you see, it's not essentially the beauty reasons or the trend that we can see nowadays. Or children. I've been doing it to my son for years, on the sole of the feet, just very gentle, and that's your nervous system regulation in a way.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you could do it with your nails as well. You could do it with a fork, as to say. We could do it with many things, but that's also a way of just stimulating and activating. So gua sha, so many ways of incorporating into your daily life. I have people now that have done masterclasses with me, the prior to a meeting, they found themselves activating specific pressure points. People sending me pictures saying, look what you've done to me. Now I'm addicted to this. I'm on a plane. And it's like, but that's beautiful. Yeah. So it's incorporating into everyday life, really.
Yeah. And so if we're thinking back at these kind of cycles, how do you take that into consideration with some of the tools you put in place?
Ideally, what you should do, for example, gua sha, in Chinese medicine, it's gua, the art of scraping, and sha is the redness that comes out from the art of scraping. So that's pure heat that comes out of your system. Something that, for example, when I see people online just doing gua sha techniques, I try to smile, because you have to smile sometimes, and I'm like, that is not gua sha. And you wouldn't want to do gua sha so vigorously to your face, because otherwise you'll end up with marks. Just like from my cupping from yesterday to my back. But actually, the way that you should work with it is, for example, if you're menstruating, you should not be doing gua sha, because your body's going through heat. you're releasing a form of heat in a certain way. If you do it up to 2 weeks before, you'll see the most amazing results on your face, on your body, depending on what you use it for. So never during a period of heat. Or for example, pregnancy. You're going through pregnancy, the body's heating, the body's creating. Perimenopause is an interesting one because now it's become a trendy word together with menopause. I like to call it hormonal wellness. We don't like labels, do we? So there are ways, so for example, when I run masterclasses, that I say to them, whatever you feel in the hot flashes, you can actually assist that hot flash, or if you know that you're having the sweats and the hot flash at night, prior to going to bed, you can do certain techniques on specific meridians and pressure points, and you can help your body release that form of heat.
Oh, wow.
So this is how you can incorporate it as well.
Wow.
It's nothing that I've created. For me, I just feel like I'm an ambassador to Chinese medicine in certain ways. When you say about modern life, this is modern life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that's one of the big things is people associated with an old way of thinking that's not necessarily relevant, or they can associate with it.
Exactly. But if you think about it, 10 years ago, no one would talk about menopause.
Yeah,
it was
that's
the
true.
biggest taboo ever. People would go like, oh, shame, poor you. Now everyone's out there, celebrities, actors, runners, everyone knows everything about menopause now, which is beautiful. By the time your generation or my daughter's generation will reach that level, it'd be incredible, it'd be beautiful. But I love to see opening, transparency and change. And this is where I think traditional medicine, you have traditional Thai medicine as well, which is strong similarities with Chinese medicine. The meridians, the pressure points, they have the sun lines versus the meridian lines. It's beautiful. And if we tap back into the traditionalness, if we had to go and talk to all the grandmothers, they would tell you in their own language things that we're only discovering now.
Yeah, such as?
For example, herbal medicine. When I was living in Thailand in my 20s, I used to have severe period pains, or I suffered from IBS. And I studied Thai massage. This is like 30 years ago. I was really fond of yoga and so on. And I remember this Thai lady, she could not speak a word of English. I could not speak Thai at the time being. And she would always tell me to lie down, and she would massage my stomach with what we would call now herbal compresses. And for me, it was fascinating because after that, I was feeling amazing. So for me, that was like the beginning of a new journey. And I was like, what is she doing? Yeah. What is it? Is it the herb? Is it the massage? It was everything. But it was her noticing what was wrong.
I was going to say, I bet in that moment she knew even more than maybe even you did, right? You feel the pain, you feel the symptom from it, whereas she can see the issue or the problem.
She could tell. And I think traditionally there is a way of reading the body. This is something that perhaps we have lost along the way. Yeah. We're too caught up with medical questionnaires, which they're vitally important, of course, but sometimes we don't look at people. So take Chinese medicine, you take the pulse, you check the tang, you look at the color, something that I vaguely remember being a child in Italy and the doctor asking me to stick my tongue out. Do they do it anymore nowadays?
No, definitely not.
Perhaps some do, but the ones that I've been exposed to, even for my children, I'm like, don't you want to check? Don't you want to check inside? Or for example, in Germany or some of the Scandinavian countries, they check everything, even when you go to the toilet, it's very open, it's very transparent. It's important to see inside-out wellness. With some of us or the cultures that we live in, it's very taboo. Don't talk about it. You need a pill, you need this, you need that. So I think slowly there will be a shift to more traditional techniques, tools. There has to be. Yeah. We need to find a balance once again.
So speaking of balance, you spoke about kind of this balance between yin and yang.
Yeah.
Which is somewhat at the core of Chinese medicine, could I say that?
100%, yes.
And is it something, there's kind of a growth in this yang energy in this modern day living, is there not?
Yes, there is, unfortunately. Everything is so fast. Everything's so fast-paced for men, for women, for children as well. Yeah. Everything has to be done now. You take that email, people expect you to respond to their email within half an hour, WhatsApp, or Instagram. Why did you not get back to me? That's that constant activation. This is yang. It's over yang. So we need to retrieve back into our yin. So yin means more stillness and calm. and the philosophy of slow living, which doesn't mean becoming lazy, but it's a way of finding balance. And nowadays you can see it's all over social media, slow living, slow beauty, slow wellness, so slow eating as well. I think that's another thing for some of us. I mean, I'm guilty. There are times that I have phone on my side, child on the other side, having a salad on the go. That certainly is not Chinese medicine, certainly is not wellness. But what do you do?
Yeah.
So I guess.
What do you do?
What
is the answer to that?
I think you have to prioritize.
Yeah.
You have to prioritize. For example, being a mum, I decided 2 years ago that I'm going to prioritize my children. So, for example, weekends are sacred. Not because it has to be Saturday and Sunday, the Lord's Day or anything, but because they're off. And when they're off, time is off. So very often they ask me, can you please leave the phone at home? It's difficult. I won't lie to you.
Who asks you that?
My children.
Really?
Yeah. Put the phone down. Or don't take the phone to the beach. And I tell you, sometimes as much as I'm so Chinese medicine and the yin and yang, it is difficult.
Yeah.
But what if someone, no, it's amazing, it's beautiful. And you start looking around. Because I think this is something that, not perhaps everyone, but a lot of us, we are losing, that it's not a picture that I need to take. It's like embrace what's around you, the people, the sky, the earth, whatever you want it to be, embrace
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also how you slow down time. It's crazy. If you actually take some time to sit and to look at everything around you, you realize how much you can experience in such a short amount of time,
It
right?
is.
When you're actually present.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And I think that the younger generation, they've really been affected by the opposite movement, the young movement. Everything's so fast. I mean, I don't know here, but I can see in Hong Kong, whenever I'm on the NTR, younger people, everyone's attached to the phone. Not only younger people, but especially the younger generation. It's like, talk to each other. If there's a bunch of you sitting or standing together, what happened to just discussing even silly things? Everyone's on a reel. So that, to me, is kind of scary.
Terrifying.
Perhaps you and I would be exactly the same. I'm not judging or there is no perfectionism here, but it's like, where are we going?
Absolutely. Where is this going?
So I think there will be a reset. There will be. I'm pretty sure.
What would that look like?
Maybe a internet crash, kind of Wi-Fi disruption, like it happened in Spain. What was that, a few months ago? Too much energy. There is too much of too much. They say the earth is heating up. I was walking around Hong Kong the other day and I was looking at every single skyscraper and I was thinking, how many AC?
Oh, God, yeah.
I live on the 48th floor and there's 5 apartments and there are so many towers in the region. That's creating energy. It's, global warming in a way. We are creating that. Yeah. How do you stop that? I have no idea. They say we need more healers, we need more farmers, perhaps that is the solution.
Yeah. Well,
We're going to live in the countryside.
It's hard, right? Because the world has also moved into a certain direction for a certain reason.
Sure.
And then I think there's no easy answer to that, but it's definitely, worth pondering the question. So at the beginning you said your philosophy was all around less is more. Right, which is even more fitting in today's world with the way that things are going.
Absolutely.
You founded Philosophia Botanica in 2013?
Yeah, good memory, well done. Yeah.
Was it with also that philosophy in mind?
It was indeed. I've been working in the spa industry for quite some time and it was exactly that. I used to train a lot of different brands and I used to think already back then, this is in London, too many products, too many ingredients. The teams were not learning the ingredients, as to say, and then the brands would complain that retail, the sales, mystery shoppers, they were unimpressed and so on. And I remember thinking, because it's just too much information, can we not simplify it? I believe in concentrated everything, even a vitamin C. Give me something concentrated, but that is powerful, that is plant-based, but it has to be powerful, versus something that is wishy-washy with 10,000 ingredients. And you can see that in the skincare business nowadays. Some brands are standing out for one ingredient. I don't want to mention names. They brought the prices down and it's literally one ingredient formula. And then you have You have your Korean skincares, for example. Something like 10, 15 different passages. I tried a couple of times because I was like, let me see what the trend is all about. That's not for me. I can't keep up with you do this and you do that. And you see the brain is constantly activating. I think skincare is a form of wellness as well. Yeah. You know, you're feeding your own skin. You're feeding yourself.
Yeah, your largest organ of your body.
Exactly. So for me, with Philosophia Botanica was exactly that. Let me create some self-care rituals. So already back a good 10 years ago with smaller ingredient formulations, but that they are powerful and can be boosted together with other formulas and so on. So I don't believe that, for example, you only have to use one product because your skin changes. And it's also great to incorporate. The same with food. You need variety, but it can be part of a simpler routine, healthier.
And so how is that the way that you differentiate, or how else do you really focus on differentiating the product? I mean, it's obviously the industry's changed in 10 plus years. It's become even more saturated than we ever could have imagined it being. So how do you
very much so? It is difficult, but I think as we evolve, everything has to evolve. We have to evolve too, as practitioner, as brand, as ingredients, as formulators, as, for example, nowadays we talk a lot about regenerative farming, regenerative travel, regenerative wellness and beauty, which I've incorporated in Philosophia Botanica. But I really had to ask myself a few years ago, what is regenerative about us? Is it just another gimmicky word like wellness? Perhaps in certain ways it is, but I strongly believe in regenerative farming to start with, because at the end of the day, it starts with the food that we eat in, with the water that we drink in. So for me, even when we talk about sustainability, it's a matter of where does it come from? Yeah. Who made it? Who touched it? You know, why did you pick that specific herb at that specific time? So in Cape Town, for example, in our lab and location, we pick certain herbs at a specific time because it's not affecting the growth, because of the daylight. You know, it's for respect of the botanical elements as well. We're doing the same in Italy, and like I said, we're opening a lab in Asia as well. And my philosophy is exactly the same. But each location will have a lab that will look after a specific side of Mother Earth, but will have local ingredients. So one product might slightly change because the neroli will not come from sunny Italy, it will come from Thailand, for example. You know, exactly the same formula, but the benefits are for the people. Because I strongly believe that the land is our medicine.
And do you think with that, and touching back almost onto what you said about Chinese medicine, that, let's say, the plants that grow within a certain region benefit more the people who are from that region, have a genetic predisposition to react in a certain way?
So this is, for example, you and I can love as much as we want eating certain types of herbs, food. You know, you're in Thailand, I'm in Hong Kong, but lemongrass or goji berries, as to merge the two, they're potentially not the right herbs for our system. Being European, Mediterraneans, there are different type of food, herbs and so on that we may need. So for example, I was mentioning before humidity. I'm doing a big research on humidity, and I'm realizing some of us are way more affected, but not just externally. You sweat, your hair go all frizzy and you just feel like this is too much. It's not just external, it's internal. What does the humidity do to us, male and female? It's interesting.
What does it do?
Well, it creates like a kind of a cloud, as to say. So some of us are more affected with the stomach. So for example, if you already have a deficiency or weakness of your gut system, you know, you may be affected a lot more. But in Chinese medicine, there are specific herbs, there are specific soups, there are specific tonics that you would drink a specific time of the year, which is something that I only figured out in recent years, because obviously I can't really read Cantonese or Mandarin. So now I'm going with my Google Translate in front of all these doctors in the windows, and I'm like, let me see what it means. And that's when I figured out, I mean, I knew it because we studied some of it, but it was very superficial being a Western. Now I go in and I'm like, right, I want this, this and that. And then, of course, they take the polls and so on. Now we understand each other because of Google Translate. And they tell me, yes, humidity, you need this, this and that. So it's damp. That's what we would call it in Chinese medicine. So it helps your system to rebalance itself. So it's not just the AC, it's not just the cold shower or the cold bath. It's whatever you put in that will kind of remove the dampness, as to say.
Wow.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's super interesting.
It
for
is.
sure.
And in Thailand, it's exactly the same. I wouldn't know exactly what the names of the herbs are, but when I was living in Chiang Mai, the same old lady that introduced me to the herbal medicine, she used to make me drink all these potions. And I remember being like, what is it? What are you giving me? Who knows? I mean, once her and family, they took me to the ancestor secret land. We're talking about almost 30 years ago. And I remember thinking, is this safe?
Am I going to come home alive?
My Thai wasn't very good. She was teaching me about the plants and the herbs, but I could not understand. So it was on the border with Laos as well. I mean, I went back years after, and a granddaughter, I was trying to help her to write a book, to translate Thai plants into English, but it's very difficult. It's impossible. Yeah. So in the end, I was like, you need to find someone that is a botanist. But it was fascinating. So they knew as well, without being herbalists or botanists, like you will call them today, what herbs to give you.
Oh, there's definitely some kind of ancient, it was basic, quote unquote, knowledge at the time, right? It was 100%. Something that people just knew and they felt. And, you mentioned wearables earlier. I mean, with all the huge amount of information and data we're getting today, are we also just becoming less and less connected with the answers that we actually have within us? We should be able to answer ourselves, I need more sleep or I need less sleep. But we also almost feel more comfortable externalizing that information.
You see, that's very interesting, that it's curiosity. Humans are curious, our intelligence, it's important to be curious. So of course we all want to put the ring on, go to sleep, and then kind of look at the data over a month, 2 months, and go like, how do I sleep? What's wrong with my heart? Am I healthy enough? But at the same time, do I need a ring, a bracelet, or something to tell me at what time I have to go to bed, and that perhaps my heart is giving me signals? So that, I think, is the scary part. And that's what I think traditionalness, be Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, Thai, Mediterranean, has to work together in a yin and yang way with technology. Because we can't stop technology. This is beautiful in a way. Look what we come to. Literally, they can assess you entirely. You can have extra oxygen. It's fascinating, but we need to find a balance.
So what does a perfect balance between the two look like?
I think it's cultures embracing the traditions. So not only in the East, but even us in the West, embrace old remedies, embrace herbalism, it doesn't essentially have to be aromatherapy and so on. But if you go back home to Switzerland, to go and find a pharmacy, I'm sure you have exactly the same one as we have in Italy. So different herbs, different potions, they will make you a tonic with our own local herbs. I mean, where you come from, it must be so powerful, the nature from the mountains and so on. So in a way, wouldn't that be amazing? You still have your wearables and you're still active and you still keep up with trends, but you then come back to what is it that Victoria really needs. Yeah. And it's not coming from me that I do Chinese medicine, it's coming from the expert that you're going to see. And I think this is what eventually I hope we will be seeing in the future. A lot of people that they will take time studying and researching, teaching, versus us going to whoever is selling us this gummy does this, that water will do that ring will show you that. Because I think the knowledge right now, it's fairly superficial, or at least where we get the information from, it's fairly superficial. Yeah. You take Chinese medicine, if I may say, I don't like judging other brands, or I just feel like it's not my job. So I've been observing for the past 10 years. But I tell you, Chinese medicine has become popular. So you have a lot of brands now talking about the 5 elements in their treatments. And it makes me smile, because I'm like, it's a pity that you have taken the superficial information of something so powerful and are now creating rituals or techniques saying this is Chinese medicine. Yeah. Take gua sha as well. There's a lot of, what do they call it, Asian appropriation, cultural appropriation. They have a point. In a way, it's like, why are you using something so popular and you've made it extreme, like trendy, but you don't understand the power of the tool that you're holding in your hands. So you see, we're a bit in between now. So we need to find that balance.
And we were speaking earlier just about, wellness as a term. It just doesn't mean anything anymore, right? Where is the industry going? How mainstream can it get? Can it get more, quote unquote, mainstream than it is today? Will it have a revert back in the other direction?
Hopefully so.
How is this all going to pan out?
I think, it's difficult to give a straight answer, but it will carry on. It will evolve even more because it's a momentum right now. But you can see a lot of the professionals, a lot of the people that you want to talk to, that they've done the research and so on, they are taking a step back, if not 2, if not 10. That I've read articles where people, they're like, can we talk about something else? Can we call wellness something different? There was an article on LinkedIn a couple of months ago. How do we change it? What do we call it?
It's a big question.
It is, but it's not in a way. It's like, how about we keep doing things in the right way? Does it have to be called wellness? What was it called 10 years ago? What was it called 20 years ago? Yeah. We still had doctors. We still had acupuncturists. We still had osteopaths. That's all wellness at the end of the day. Absolutely. It's just everything's gone under one label. And the label is taken over.
And washed out. And can cover, I gave you this example earlier, but I passed in front of these wellness residences, and I was thinking, what about these residences make it wellness? Because you can as much have a plant in the corner as you can have, anything, and just label it that, and it almost takes away from those who are doing something interesting and who are putting forth very interesting concepts that have profound benefits and strong meaning behind it.
Very much so. It's scary in a way. I keep smiling. I've decided I'm just going to smile away because you see so much. Everything's wellness. Yeah. I told you I went for a massage yesterday. The lady wasn't speaking English, but all she said, wellness massage. And I was like, no, I want anything with wellness. Just give me a massage. No, you, wellness massage. So she was pointing out at all of this, and I was like, massage. And I knew it would have been Chinese style and painful, and I was like, yeah, Chinese medicine. By wellness, she meant the capping, so they included something else to make it a little more wellness, which would make sense. But it made me smile again, because I'm like, why are you using the word wellness? Yeah. Has it reached you as well? Not in an awful and disrespectful way, but why are you using, in the English language, wellness? What's wellness about that? Yeah. She was wellness 100%. And the pain that I felt was wellness, and I remember thinking, it's good pain.
It's good for me.
It is good pain. But it's interesting, like the mindset around it was wrong. Like I didn't want to hear, do you want a wellness massage? No, I just want a massage. Yeah. Don't mention wellness. Yeah. So I'm not sure what the answer is.
And spas in general. Today, obviously, you have a big history in that world as well. Where are they going, but also what are they doing wrong?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I think there's a lot of evolving, which is great. So we've moved away from simply just a massage menu, which is the usual deep tissue, pregnancy, aromatherapy, or relaxing, not even aromatherapy, to cleansing of the face, and that's your facial. Now there's advanced techniques. You can see there are people behind it that they are designing together with the brands specific treatments, which is amazing. But I think, if I may say, there's too much technology involved and less of this.
Your hands.
And I think the hands are the power here, the powerhouse.
It's an energy exchange at the end of the day.
Nothing will ever be able to replace the touch and the energy exchange. I think some countries, like in Europe, it's beautiful to watch. They're really evolving with manual techniques. So the Russian facials, as to say, the intraoral, where you put and you move everything. It's amazing. It's divine. I love it. That's more powerful than any other machine, if I may say. Again, the combination of the two would be amazing. So it doesn't have too much of manual, holistic wellness versus no, that's medical. Why? Because both of them could be amazing. It's just these two cultures and movement, they should meet, I think. And I think in some countries, natural skincare, as to say, is not quite accepted. I think we all know that injections, and it's this wanting to look a certain way. So when someone reads, oh, it's a natural skincare, oh, it's just a face massage, what is that going to do for me? But actually that's incorrect, because even your Botox face, as to say, can benefit from, let's say, a gua sha technique that gently can move away the lymph stagnation, or a vitamin C few drops. So again, I think we need balance. And I think there's a big movement around certain spas that they're doing so well in the wellness industry, and they're becoming bigger and bigger names because they're incorporating traditional techniques.
So do you think, overarching, there is a bigger potential for tapping in more into the traditional, and we're almost moving too far away from it? Is that what you say? Is
Yes.
it general?
In general, yes. So we're a bit lost in between.
Yeah.
But I think consumers are switching back to natural. You know, the amount of times that we receive inquiries from people saying, I need to get rid of blah, blah, blah. It's too much. It looks too frozen. The muscles are not moving. Can you help us with face yoga, face massage? Because some of my ambassadors, they teach specific techniques. And it's beautiful in a way, because they're understanding that the two can work together.
Wow.
So that is...
So you are really seeing this shift in the, say, in the more beauty industry of actually going back to natural. Do you think we've
not
gone...
Not everyone.
I think we've
Certain
hit
countries...
peak
I think certain countries are more advanced.
Okay.
I think America, for example, if I may say, really has seen the technology, but there is such a great movement on manual techniques. I think the UK is moving towards, manual techniques as well. Europe, the continent, is a bit of an old mentality. I'm not sure about Switzerland. I think Switzerland is more on the medical side of things, but very open to certain. But I can tell you that France and Italy, for example, it's old mentality.
Definitely. That's cool.
It's difficult to shift. But from the consumers, they go to a spa and no, I don't want that. I want that because I know that the effect is going to be straight away. But what I think we're failing to teach people is the awareness and education. You may see the result straight away on one side, but you're freezing a muscle, as to say, or it's very, invasive.
Sure.
On the other side, it may take you longer, like Chinese medicine. You will need more sessions. Facial acupuncture is amazing, but you will need from 6 to 12 sessions in order to see really the glow of the face and so on. So again, young, fast life and society, I want to see results now.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a yang-dominated world,
100%,
right?
100%. But I have hope. I believe that it's going to reach a level when everyone's going to go like, enough now, let me go back to. And at the same time, the movement of natural, traditional techniques is becoming stronger and stronger.
Yeah. What are some key trends that you've noticed? And some that you love and some that you don't like so much?
Well, everyone's talking about, for example, the ice bath, and swimming in cold water and so on. I think, especially where you come from, in Switzerland, it's been something that, the elderly generation have been doing this for forever time. Where I come from, we do exactly the same during winter time. I don't do it.
From a traditional medicine point of view, it's not.
It's not. That's why,
recommended.
exactly. So from TCM point of view, the cold is really a big fat no. It's a shock to the system. You want to warm and nourish. But I also have to go against Chinese medicine a little bit, because at the end of the day, if it suits you and it works for you, why must I tell you that you shouldn't do it? But I do believe that you should be guided by a professional. Yeah. So I can see with myself, for example, I hate cold. Cold doesn't agree with me. I did try the bath, and I really love the what are they called? Forgive me.
Yeah,
Wim Hof.
Yeah.
Wim Hof, and Laura, the way that they teach and the philosophy, there is knowledge there. This is not something that was put together overnight. There is science behind. It's incredible, my hat off to him and the family. But I believe it's not for everyone. So again, individuality. So with trends, now you see this ice bath everywhere. Do people behind the ice bath know how to guide you to have the ice bath? That is a big question mark.
And do you know for yourself, maybe times where you should be doing it or not doing it, especially as a woman, you are very sensitive to different temperatures at different times of the month.
Exactly, like
even
you were
I love going
saying
to the onsen, but
Yeah.
there are times in which I cannot deal with cold water, or I can't even deal with extreme heat. I just notice
absolutely.
sensitivity in my body. And do you have maybe the either awareness, or do you take the time to have the awareness of really asking yourself, how does this feel with me right now?
But you see, we're going back to what we were saying before. It's like, do we need then a wearable to tell us, now you can go into the onsen and now you can go into the ice bath, or Victoria, stay put, you cannot do anything right now. It's you. You need to tap within yourself and understand, like you just said, there are times that I'm very sensitive. Isn't that beautiful? So I think from my side, people like myself, we should talk more about that. Listen to your own self, to your own body. Nothing hippie about it. I teach my children all the times. If you know that you're getting a sore tummy, what's triggering the sore tummy? So one big thing about Chinese medicine is going to the root cause. What's creating that headache? What's creating that back pain? What is it? We have to trace it back. And coming back to the trends, it's exactly the same. Trends will come and will go. I mean, remember the massage guns? Sorry, I was never a fan. I remember the first time someone showed me that, and I was like, it's repetitive strain injury. It's so heavy. Some of these ladies said they had to hold the gun. But at the same time, my husband is an athlete, and he absolutely loves it. He does his 70K, comes home, and by himself, he's watching TV, and he's doing his massage gun. So kudos, why not? Yeah. But I'm not sure about the spa environment.
Yeah. No, finding the right thing for you, and I think there's an element of obviously listening to yourself, but I think it's more trust, because I think ultimately we know, I'm not feeling this or whatnot, but it's, do I trust myself enough to actually act upon it?
Absolutely. But also, like, what is my body telling me? Like, if I'm feeling hot right now, I'm not going to go and sit in that sauna because already the atmospheric outside, temperature is quite hot. I'm freezing cold. Do I want to go and do an ice bath? So I don't know. It's very simplified, of course.
Yeah.
Otherwise, gosh, there are so many trends. I mean, I love keeping up with them, but I don't know. Sometimes I just don't give credit to a lot of things, I guess.
A lot of the time, I mean, it comes and goes so fast, right? Exactly. That I find sometimes I'm like, let me just wait on this a little bit and see what happens, because things just come and go. And if you find yourself, if you want to jump on everything, then you're just running around switching.
But like now, it's all about hormonal wellness. Yeah. And it's beautiful to see men like Pilates teachers or PE teachers telling women, you need to do this, you need to do that. And again, it makes me smile sometimes, because I'm like, what do you know? Not with no offense, but I'm like, how does a man know what the woman with the hot flash is going through? I mean, I haven't gone through that yet, but I watch friends or videos. There's this video of this lady, I think in America somewhere, that she takes her hat off. She's watching a rugby match or something. She has no hair, and all of a sudden you see the smoke coming out of her head. I was horrified. But she was laughing, and she was like, this is what happens. So it's interesting, the level of heat, So I would like to see more women creating for women. Nothing against the men, because I think men are amazing. They're technical. It's not a generalizing thing. But I would like to see more women understanding and creating for more women.
So what's lacking in that space? Is it education? Is it knowledge? Is it support? Is it products?
It's definitely knowledge, because we don't have enough knowledge. Medically, I mean, there's been a lot of studies where we're interested in the woman up until she's pregnant, and then in an awful way it's like, okay, now it's not essentially pregnancy, but by the time you reach a level of menopause, there's not much that we can do to the human body. While instead, it's quite fascinating. It's not menopause. Menopause could be just a short period of time, as to say. It's after. What happens after? How do we maintain? So I would like to see more women studying, researching, and also sharing what they are going through, because then you can start building data for future generations. That's why I'm saying perhaps women supporting more women like you've gone through it. Talk about it. Tell us.
Yeah. So speaking of support and, groups and communities and things like this, you also work with Global Wellness Day.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what that's all about?
Yes. So Global Wellness Day is a movement about creating awareness around wellness. And the main motto is, in simpler words, wellness is for everyone. It's not just one day, but you can do every day a little something that will lead to wellness. It is celebrated once a year. Sometimes people ask me, so does that mean that wellness has one day only? No, but it's a day of awareness.
Especially in today's industry, it's definitely every day and it's definitely everywhere.
I know. But it's interesting because, the beauty of it is that your big name spas and studios and so on will open the door free of charge. So it's about creating awareness. So you invite communities, you invite people that wouldn't normally go for that yoga session, spin session, meditation, or Tibetan sound bowl and so on. And it doesn't have to be that. Over the years, there's been, getting together of schools, children, elderly. Last year, the current year is about reconnecting, which is very dear to me. And it could be anything, reconnected to nature or so on. But in Hong Kong, a lot of people reconnected with elderlies. So in the homes, going to see people, it's not the end of the journey. Those are the people that you pay respect to. So for me, it was absolutely beautiful. So it's a day of awareness, but then it's a year long.
Yeah. I love that part of the community element, because I think a lot of the time, if we look at wellness also in its current state, it's a lot of personal pursuit, right? It's a lot of doing things for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I think that a lot of the time doesn't actually make us more well.
No,
the more we just end up focusing
all.
more on ourselves. And I always think this, I think the biggest reason for mental health challenges is you're too centered around yourself.
100%.
The more we can look outside, the more we can look at people around us, the more we can actually spend actual in-person time with other people and thinking about other people, the better we will feel.
I couldn't agree more. And I think, every year, when I watch the videos of what every country has created, because, you have ambassadors in each country. At present, I'm representing Hong Kong. Before, I was with the UAE and so on. So there are tons of events. The movement is growing. And then you look back and you're like, wow, look at this. How one ambassador has managed to create all these different, not really create, but like organize and liaise and so on. It's beautiful. And every year, it gives me shivers just talking about it now. It's stunning. It's something like, you hope that then people will continue with the momentum. That doesn't matter. We'll see you again next year. And we keep on reminding everyone. For me, it's about children in schools, though. What I'm trying to do a lot more is to involve schools, because it starts with children. And yes, it's a fun day. You can wear a funny T-shirt and a hat and so on. I support Global Wellness Day, but it's just you're implanting something. You're teaching this younger generation. It's your planet. It's your mental health to come and so on. We could talk for forever time about mental health and mental wellness.
Yeah, especially the younger generation. With you, children and whatnot. What are your thoughts on that? How to navigate that?
It's really difficult. I think social media, for example, or the constant phone in your hands. It's a daily battle. I won't lie to you. I'm also part of this digital detox movement that started in India. I find it very difficult when I'm based to promote a digital detox. I don't know what it's like in Thailand, perhaps not as bad. It's scary because these children, let's call them children, they're hiding behind a phone. So I think the self-esteem, the ability of staying in a room, of sharing a conversation, a tea, a coffee, or a juice is not there anymore. I can see a lot of girls wearing a lot of makeup. It's almost like a form of protection. Don't take me wrong. We love to wear makeup at 14, 15, even ourselves. But now you can see that there's a barrier. There's a fear of being part of. And I don't have an answer for that. At home, I'm battling every day, even with the little one. Then you take them out and they love life. Thank you, Mummy. This is beautiful.
Well, they're the ones telling you to put your phone away.
I know. But then sometimes, I'm always telling them, but then I take pictures and they are memories. The little one is quite wise. Don't worry, Mummy, the memories are here.
Yeah, I can imagine that also. I don't know where that will go to, I'd like to say maybe there'll be a movement in the opposite direction, but I don't think it's possible.
You have countries like Australia, actually, that they ban social media under the age of 16. Yeah. How are they going to implement that? I'm fascinated about that. It's going to take a few years.
Yeah.
But you see, even just not have the phone at school. And people will argue, how do I contact my parents? How do I contact my child? How did we do it before? The school will call me and say, such and such, you need to blah, blah, blah. The phone at home. These kids have digital, my youngest is 8 and his classmates have all sorts of digital things. And I'm like, what for?
The problem is then the kids say, oh, well, all my friends have this and I need to have it and I won't be included and I might be bullied and all these things.
I'm a bad parent. My daughter begged me for an iPhone for so long, and I was like, you can have our old phones if you want to. Oh, mummy, but, and I'm like, learn how to answer back.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Yeah. You're not always going to have, now we're on iPhone 17. My son came and said, Mummy, do you know that now that it's iPhone 17? He has no clue what an iPhone 17 is, but because he's listening to his classmates, so someone at home is saying, hey, it's time to upgrade the phone. I don't know, again, balance. You can't take it away. I don't believe in taking it away because they are part of this society, but you need to give some limits.
Yeah.
I argue with them every day. I don't have the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as you say, it all comes back down to this, right? It's the phones also bring more of this yang energy if we look at it even from a TCM point of view. So how are we bringing in as much yin as we can to balance?
That's really tricky. Even just not having the phone in your room or not being on your phone just before going to bed or as soon as you wake up.
Absolutely. First of all, it frazzles your nervous system, but I was actually listening to a podcast about specifically the impact of short-term video content and how that is in itself different.
Yeah.
Even social media we knew 10 years ago is not the same. It's not the same. Actually, short-term video content has specific implications on your brain, on levels of focus.
It's pretty simple because we have lost that attention.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. It's scary. We've regressing in a way. If it's too long, I can't take it in.
Yeah, a friend was telling me that they can't show videos more than 15 minutes in classrooms anymore because a child cannot look at something for more than 15 minutes.
It's scary. It's absolutely scary. However, I don't know here, but where I live, you can see little babies in the pram with the phone or the iPad.
Oh my God. Whenever I see that, it makes me very sad.
In their defense, I'm a mom too, and I've done it too at times. But when they're so young and you can take it away and they're looking around, faces, people, noises. Yeah. It's still quite activating, but they're learning. When they have a screen, this scares me because, I can see with my kids, I can see that I can fight it, but I won't be able to win the battle 100%, but at least they're, since a young age.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that, but trust me, so many times I walk past and I'm like, should I just take it off them? And
yeah, all the balance to be had somewhere. All right, Francesca, we're just going to start wrapping it up. I've got a few fun, quick-fire questions for us to go through, okay? It's like a wellness edition. What is one daily hack or ritual that you swear by?
Hiking.
Oh, I love it. I wish I could say that
Even
myself.
if it's short, but I have to.
Latest learning in the wellness industry that surprised you?
Every day. I don't think that is every day this wellness industry is surprising me, either for positive or negatives.
Something particular maybe that you've learned or...
Well, I'm currently studying biomagnetism.
Okay.
Which is something that I will be talking at the lunch for Destination Deluxe in a couple of days. So I'm really implementing magnetism as a form of self-care acupuncture.
Oh, interesting.
And I've done a few courses, but I'm reading from other people everywhere around the world. They might call it in different ways, but still magnets applied, different sizes, different elements. Again, positive and negative Chinese medicine.
So physical magnets.
Physical magnets.
That you apply to your body.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You've just taught me something. What is a wellness resource? So like a podcast, a book that you go to for some high quality information, as we said, that, there's an abundance of information. What do you think? What's one of your favorite sources?
I don't think I have one.
What are a few of your favorite sources?
I read a lot. I read Chinese medicine books. I'm a nerd. So you have like Giovanni Maciocia, even though he was Italian, bless him. It's incredible how I go back to him to make sense of things happening in our life nowadays.
Interesting.
And just in general, because I'm passionate about Chinese medicine, going back to some of these books that I used to find awfully boring when I was at university, now I'm reading a lot of the classics backs and I'm understanding.
Wow.
And
repeat the name of that author?
Giovanni Maciocia.
Well, is that beginner friendly to someone who's interested in
You
traditional
can start.
Chinese medicine?
It's not beginners friendly,
Yeah.
but I think if you have an understanding of how TCM works with the 5 elements, you find it extremely interesting.
Oh, amazing. What is your favorite wellness gadget at the moment? Doesn't have to be tech. It can be.
No. Well, my magnetic pen.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm addicted actually.
And so is that the same?
Yeah, it's the same with
Like therapy,
magnetism. So it's just, it could be like a stick or a finger, that you could do some pressure points, but it really activates some of the acupoints, as to say, or meridians. And I find, because my nose is always blocked, because I have a broken nose, it's amazing because it just releases all the
So you do it on your face?
And, yeah, on my face.
Oh,
even during
very
meetings.
interesting.
And I can't travel with that. It has to be in my suitcase because they stop me and they're like, what is this?
Oh, yeah. It's like whenever I travel with boiled eggs, they're always like, why
I
are you bringing eggs?
I know. Some of the
It
tools,
sucks.
unfortunately, you can't have in your bags. I've been stopped all over the world. India was the best. Like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm in the wellness industry. I had 10 Indian policemen like, what do you do with this? And I was like, what do you want me to say? And
What, with your magnetic stick?
yeah,
Oh,
some of them, they look
no.
like forks, and they do have some odd shapes, I understand. But I was quite naive, and I was like, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. What do you think it is? Are those sex toys? And it's like, no, it's like, it's a magnetic pen. So I was quite embarrassed. Same in the Maldives. Yeah, I guess
Wow.
they've never seen some of these.
Yeah.
So now I know they go in the suitcase.
Yeah. Not worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth the battle. Wellness advice that had a profound impact on you?
To slow down.
Yeah.
To slow down.
And that brings me to then my last question, which is just in just as few words as you can, if you were to have your mic drop moment and you had one piece of, wellness advice that if everyone implemented it, you really think the world would be a happier and healthier place, what would that be?
I think it's about your own mental wellness.
Yeah.
So take care of yourself. We talk about mind and gut. There's a strong connection, but I think this is the most important. Yeah. There's a lot of burnout people in the wellness industry. I was one of those, and that's why slow down and look after yourself. There is so much more to learn and to give, so we need to protect ourselves.
Yeah. Less is more.
Less is more. I love it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Francesca. Thank you for everything you
Pleasure.
shared today. I'm very, very grateful. And if
Pleasure to
people are
be
interested
here.
in who you are and what you do, where can they find you?
You can find me on philosophiabotanica.com or supporting Global Wellness Day, and very soon interviewing you for Global Wellness Day, asking you the magic word, what does wellness mean to you? So I should see you soon. We'll reverse the roles.
I would love it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.